and welcoming everybody. Before we get into this evening's live, I'd just like to take a minute here and thank everybody for tuning in. It's truly an honor and a privilege and also a blessing to see everybody who tunes in each and every day and to see everybody who continues to be within the live and to see the advancements we can make. As we can see today with XRP, we're up 1.71% on the day, and we are definitely at a point where I would describe it as no man's land, only because we seem to be in the midst of what is just a very volume. It's a rally up without volume, and it leads me to believe that wave 5 correction is still, we're in the midst of a wave 5 correction. And if that does play out, we would have to come down to that 36.8 to 37.4 cent range. A way to invalidate that thesis or that opinion or even that interpretation of this wick-off accumulation, which is in the corrective phase, would be to get over 48.6 cents approximately and invalidate that correction phase. And then you could validate that invalidation by getting over around 51 cents. But there's a lot to talk about. The German government added another 1,200 plus Bitcoin. They're going to be selling over 2,000 bit. We'll get into that. JW, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. He says the high 5 birthday. Yes, indeed, it's my son's 5th birthday today. Tom, little Tom Speak of the 3rd. So it's his birthday, so I'll be going back to that after this. But I wanted to come on and do a live today. I wanted to. I felt it in my bones. John Hall, welcome in, and good evening. I appreciate you continuing to tune in. Lee, welcome in, my friend. Yes, it's my son's birthday. JW, I think JW was referring to my son's birthday, Lee. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in. So we'll go over XRP's price. We'll go over Bitcoin. We'll go over the news here as well about Bitcoin with the German government. And I'm not just speaking out my, you know what. But we'll go back here in a sec. I'll show you. Trading with J-Ride, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XP589 Moon Badge. I appreciate that. So, but here, the German government moves another 1,125 Bitcoin to Coinbase, and it actually is about 2,375 Bitcoin. They're selling up to 2,375 Bitcoin. So we'll go over the news and the notes there, what that actually means. We'll talk about how the Ripple CEO confronts the SEC Commissioner and how will XRP respond. So we'll start there after I do the intro. We'll go into Ripple CEO, how he confronts the SEC Commissioner. Then we'll go into the charts. We'll look around and we'll talk about Bitcoin and the German government selling, or at least moving a substantial amount onto an exchange, an additional amount. So please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. If you hit that like button, YouTube will put my content through the recommendations, and somebody who's just looking through their newsfeed on YouTube will see my content, whether they want to or not, and whether they've seen my content or not, and it might intrigue you enough to click on the content. You might just be scrolling through and they're like, whoa, what's going on with the German government here? Or, hey, Ripple CEO finally has some balls here, and so, you know, somebody might just have a response, and then they'll see it. So please make sure to hit that like button. I'll catch you on the other side of the intro. Good evening, 6:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, July 11th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I'd like to welcome in the new members and to the old members who have found their way back in the community. It is so very vital and integral for each and every one of you to tune in, and not just the old members that have found their way back. It's also the new members that can help us grow this community, so you're just as integral as somebody else who's been here. We've grown a beautiful community so far of over 22,000 subscribers, but it takes more and more people to add more into the, into the brain of this community, and we add more different working parts, and we can see more. The more people that join, the more we can see, and just the more of a atmosphere that we can expand and we can help grow, and it just becomes a beautiful thing when you can start to share knowledge at a bigger level. So I just welcome everybody, and I thank you for continuing to show support for my content. Masi, welcome in. Allison, good evening. Says happy birthday to your son, along with Lee said that as well. I thank you, everybody, for wishing my son a happy birthday. I really, really do. All the best, and big thank you, Tom, for updating us daily. Much appreciated. You're welcome, Allison. I appreciate that. Moza here, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. Tanya, the FIT 21 bill, or 121 bill, it didn't pass. It didn't make it through all, let's just say it didn't make it through all steps of legislation, or all branches. So it did not necessarily pass the first time around. But thank you, Tanya, for tuning in as well and being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Love, it's always a blessing to see you in here. One of our most popular members, by the way. It just happens to be that way. I don't make the rules. But XRP right now up 1.66%. It's very important here. Very important here. And then we'll go into what the Ripple CEO said to the SEC Commissioner as he confronted him. But XRP right now, we're in a weird spot. We're in a weird spot because on this push-up, we would have liked to have seen some sign that a recovery could take place beyond just coming up to a critical resistance levels. And right now, we're not seeing any evidence of that because there's no volume. We're continuing to push up because we're not getting a lot of selling pressure right now. And if we look at this from a realistic standpoint, if we were to come all the way up, we could push resistance up here at 60 cents. That's the importance of getting over 48.6 cents and invalidating the corrective wave. Because if we do have the corrective wave, it seems pretty certain to me that it speaks to the fact that this wouldn't hold here at 43, and then it would come down here and hit like 30, and now in current times it's around 36.4. And that could satisfy the urge on a push down, but if we come down there, there's no guarantee you hold that because you're only one step away now from 28 cents or 26 cents, which would reset the pattern after being in a rising channel. That's why I think we're still in this corrective wave, and it makes sense that it would be a wave 5 correction that we're still in unless we invalidate it, because we're just coming out of that rising channel. And it seems like if we wanted to reset, you would come back. Let's see where this is at. You could come all the way back here to reset at like 28.5 cents. But you don't necessarily need to come all the way back down there because we could play off of this newly formed falling channel. And even if bearish, we could come up here for a rejection at 60, 61 cents. It just seems unlikely that we would come all the way up there with no steam just to get rejected. I only say that because if you come all the way up there and you get a rejection up here, you'd already break past. So it could be 58 cents you could get a rejection. But if you hold support, sell, or buy support, sell resistance, this would speak to the fact that you could make a push here. Now, one thing I don't like here is that W reversal, it's weak. When you pull back like this, you don't want to see the second part of the W up higher. That just, there hasn't been a big test, and it's just something seems off here. The volume's decreasing here in the dailies. Today, it's pretty even with yesterday, so that's at least something. 7.657 million yesterday. And today we have 7.242 million. And we should pull in the rest of the volume in the next hour and a half. Well, maybe not that much, but close to it. Just waiting on a volume surge. Either a volume surge or some selling pressure. But it does look like Bitcoin's going to feel the brunt of the government's looking to sell. And the German government, this isn't the first sale they've had either. They're just continuously adding to the sales. And there was also a big institution, it could have been a government. There was a failed sale of Bitcoin. It was like something like, I don't even remember. We were going over it the other day. But they had put in a large amount of Bitcoin to sell, and it failed to execute because they had such a large amount. So when it would try to execute, it couldn't find the liquidity at those prices, and it would have dropped the price below where they were willing to do it. So they were willing to sell the lump sum because it wasn't able to execute at their price. So that's a liquidity problem with buyers. That's a problem. That means beneath the surface, we have some kind of issue with liquidity here, and there's not as many buyers here that would meet the demand of sellers. Oh, yeah, I know. I did notice that. Just let me know when you go. So we have to be aware of that issue. But with XRP, I would love XRP to get on a very big rally here. It's just I can see what's in front of us, and I want to stay as realistic as I can. And honestly, by being realistic, I lost 6 subscribers yesterday, you know, and it happens. And that's okay. Because not everybody wants to hear the truth about what's going on within a chart or within an actual pattern formation. But let's, before we go any farther in the technical analysis, let's get on to the first point we wanted to talk about here. So the Ripple CEO confronts SEC Commissioner, and then how will the XRP price respond? Did anybody in the audience see this? And if you are watching, please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube does recommend this live. It's absolutely critical. It's a very trying time for me personally in this space because a lot of people have lost interest in XRP and in cryptocurrency as a whole. But I'll continue to do my due diligence here because I really do like what we built. And as long as there's one person here that continues to come and watch this show during the lives, I will continue to do this because I really do like it. Syrian, welcome in. Hi, all. Sorry to be late. No problem. No problem. And thank you for being a mod and also being in your first month of Tom's Army with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. You have no idea. You have no idea how much I truly appreciate that. So Ripple CEO confronts SEC Commissioner. How will XRP respond? Its price. Over the past 24 hours, the XRP price has seen a modest 2.17% increase as the market is beginning to show signs of growth. Significantly, XRP seems to present more upside potential in the near term following statements made by Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. Hamza said, "We'll be here when I can." I appreciate that. And I also appreciate you being in Tom's Army for 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor. Thank you so much for that, Hamza. I greatly appreciate that. Since last Friday, XRP has mostly held firm, experiencing only a 0.4% drop in price. This resilience is in line with that of other notable altcoins. Still, today's gain marks a step towards recovering this slight loss, and its monthly loss of 7.02%. Over the past year, however, XRP markedly underperformed these coins, enduring a 4.34% price decline. Despite this, traders seem to remain engaged in XRP, as its trading volume has held firm at around 958.13 million over the past 24 hours. XRP price breaks long-term downtrend, so is there more gains ahead? A closer look at XRP price charts reveal that it may be well positioned for further upside. Most significantly, the 30-day moving average is an uptrend has crossed above the 200-day moving average and its strong downtrend. This is significant as it represents renewed momentum after being bound in consolidation over the past week, ranging around the 30-day moving average. Such precedent sets a strong foundation for a trend reversal. This momentum is supported by the RSI, which now stands tall at 80, demonstrating that buying pressure has undeniably increased. However, this does represent an overbought state, warranting caution for a potential correction down to more neutral territory. While indicators may present further upside potential, sustainable long-term growth will likely hinge on fundamental factors. Notably, today's price increase follows a on-X confrontation. Anti-crypto SEC Commissioner Carolyn Crenshaw. In the comment, Garlinghouse supported a statement that Crenshaw is seemingly poised for reconfirmation without input from the Senate. The due process dictates Crenshaw should be reviewed and voted on by Senate before reinstated for another term. Something Garlinghouse cited needs action. This is significant as Ripple has long been suppressed by the SEC and the legal action they have taken against them. A more favorable Securities and Exchange Commissioner would relieve this burden that has tied the XRP price down in recent years. However, the looming uncertainty amid the stir generated by ongoing German and Mt. Gox Bitcoin sell-offs should not be overlooked. It is likely to be the main driver of sentiment around XRP low-cap meme coin offering high gains potential. What the fuck is this? Despite these factors, they do not set any substantial precedents for XRP in the near future. Therefore, it is understandable why traders are seeking more promising opportunities. So basically, if you're wondering, Brad Garlinghouse called out Carolyn Crenshaw because they're not reviewing her credentials for reconfirmation in the Senate. So he's basically going after the Senate, which is interesting. It's an interesting tactic that'll draw attention for sure. So despite these factors, they do not set any substantial precedent for XRP in the near future, or near term. Therefore, it is understandable why traders are seeking more promising opportunities. I don't care about that. See, they tried. I didn't want to read all of that. So yeah, that's basically what that was about. So we can try to get a little more details with the Ripple CEO. I thought that article was a little deeper, but it was not. But there's a lot of stuff happening right now in the market. A lot of stuff happening in the market. Whoop, I don't want the trading view one. So, the Ripple CEO criticizes U.S. SEC chairman amid efforts to integrate crypto in White House policies. So, amid ongoing broader efforts to align the cryptocurrency space with the White House policies, Ripple Chief Executive Officer CEO Brad Garlinghouse has publicly criticized the United States Securities and Exchange Commission SEC Chairman Gary Gensler, underscoring the tensions between the digital asset industry and government regulations. Garlinghouse's critique centers on what he sees as SEC, and this is what I wanted to read, not necessarily what the other person covered. SEC regulatory overreach in the absence of proper guidelines under the leadership of Gensler. This is because that Ripple executive believes the regulatory watchdog strategy toward the crypto landscape has constantly impeded innovations and proved ineffective. In the recent post on X, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse started off by expressing his gratitude toward U.S. Congressman Ro Khanna's remarkable leadership and involvement in the crypto industry. The Ripple CEO acknowledged, comes at a time of ongoing endeavors by the digital asset sector to obtain more lucid regulatory measures in order to promote development and compliance in the U.S. Drawing attention to the recently completed Crypto Roundtable, which oversaw major figures like Mark Cuban, Coinbase's Chief Legal Officer, CLO, Paul Grewal, Circle's Chief Strategy Officer, CSO, Dante Disparati, and U.S. House of Representatives Joe Neguzzi. Among others, Garlinghouse noted that the development marks the first step towards turning words into deeds. Although Garlinghouse considered the roundtable a great leap for the industry, regretfully he stated that that most Democrats still support the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's chairman, Gary Gensler's illegal war against crypto. According to the Ripple CEO, this has continuously hindered the potential for American innovation to thrive. As a result, the GOP has declared its support for the digital asset sector. Unfortunately, the majority of Dems continue to enable Gensler's unlawful war on crypto, sabotaging the ability for American innovation to thrive. It's no wonder the GOP has announced a pro-crypto stance. Given the current efforts to bring forth a clear regulatory environment for digital currencies, Garlinghouse has criticized Gensler, saying he will go down as the Luddite of his time. Whoops. Words are easy, action is hard but necessary. Choose wisely, voters are paying attention. He added, need for more legislation, not litigation. As the digital asset sector continues to evolve, Coinbase CLO Paul Grewal, present at the recently concluded roundtable, highlighted that the purpose of the meeting is to stress the need for legislation and more litigation. According to Grewal, similar to politics, policies are personal, and the 52 million Americans who have owned cryptocurrency view the administration's opposition to their access to the financial system as an attack on them. This is especially true for historically marginalized communities, which are disproportionately unbanked or underbanked. Thus, with the productive roundtable, Grow believes there is once again hope for all these to change, underlining the current momentum around crypto since it's nonpartisan. So I think that's pretty interesting that we need to stay on top of what they're saying. And Brad Garlinghouse has been on a rampage here, just not necessarily being a bully, but pointing out what's going on within Congress or within the Securities and Exchange Commission. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I don't think we need regulatory actions. I think this is a big game that they all play. Brad Garlinghouse cries foul. They're in a lawsuit. They bring on regulatory framework. Yada, yada, yada. They act like it helps the people, but in hindsight, it hurts us more than it helps us. So it's really, it's an interesting time we're in. But it is my deepest desire that more and more people will continue to push forward. I don't come here to make friends, and I don't come here to, trick people into being a viewer here, to have a view here by tricking somebody. I've made friends with people by being honest and by having similar interests. But my objective here is to put the information out there so that you can make an informed decision, so that you can see historically accurate information, and so that you don't just have to watch something that someone's feeding you just so you'll come and view and buy something of theirs. And I think in this time, if we just stay transparent and we stay diligent to what we see in front of us right now, I really, really, really do believe that we're going to find ourselves in a spot where we're going to look back and say, holy smokes. Holy smokes. So, and that's why I come on every single day. And not just come on. That's why me personally, if I wasn't doing this, I watch the charts every day. I look to see if some kind of structure is broken or if some kind of momentum is starting to be gained. And to me, it's fascinating to watch the charts each and every day. It's fascinating. And then when you start seeing little news headlines and stories and you start to couple it into what's going on the charts, it really does make for a very interesting time. And then you add the ones who are in the audience, no matter if it's a big audience, no matter if it's a big audience or small audience, as long as we have the positive vibe and we have the ones who are willing to watch the market as it transcends, I love it. I really do appreciate it. Mic check? Oh, can you not hear me, JW? Interesting. If you can't hear me, I would, that's interesting. Can everybody hear me? JW said mic check. Oh, all good. Okay. Just making check. Just making sure. Gianni, thank you so much for tuning in. Taxi, welcome. I appreciate you tuning in this evening, and thank you for saying happy birthday to my son. JW says it's all good. Excellent. Big Stink. Syrian. The Gatman says I can hear you, and thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRB 589 Moon Badge, the Gatman. I really, really appreciate that. Gianni says it's okay. Thank you so much. Brad says, what's up, Tom? What's going on, my friend, Brad? I'm glad to see you in the audience. Not much. It's my son's 5th birthday today, so once I get done with the live, I'll go back to celebrating with him. I really wanted to do the live today. It was in my heart today. It was in my heart. I missed yesterday. I felt like I needed a 1 day off. We had a bad vibe a couple days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago, we were getting back on track. Yesterday, I wanted to get stuff set up for my son's birthday. And today, I knew it would be a smaller audience just because of what's going on in crypto. And some people just don't like me, I feel like. We lost 6 subscribers. So it gives me motivation to continue to come on. And in spite of, maybe the lack of growth or the lack of ones who might appreciate this, I find it very nice. I find it very nice to come on every day. And consistency for me breeds a response. Not just in doing this, but also when I go to the gym or how I've been intermittent fasting for the last 1.5 years now. The consistency is what breeds my response. I'm very consistent. Charles, thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate that. I haven't got a donation in a while, so it's always awesome to see that. Thank you so much for that, Charles. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, man. You have no idea how much that means to me. Bitcoin is down 235 points today, down 0.41%. at 57,494. The Gatman says, happy birthday, little Tom. Thank you so much for that. Kierley, thanks for reading Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Also wishing a happy birthday. Thank you all so much for that for my son. I greatly appreciate that. And he does watch the videos. He's on the spectrum, autistic, and he watches the videos. So he definitely watches this. So he listens, and he's probably my biggest fan. Walks around the house watching me. You got 5 on it. Excellent, Kierley. But thank you, everybody. So Bitcoin at 57,467, down 258 points on the day. Puts in a bearish W. That's a bearish W. You're a gift, Tom. You just don't know it. I think I'm starting to understand it a little more and more as I go along. I do. I definitely do. It just, I don't know what the right word is. I guess my gratification is seeing you guys here during the lives and seeing the ones who watch the updates and, you know, have a comment or have some kind of response, whether good or bad. But it gets the juices flowing, so to say. I like seeing civilization doing something. Even if they disagree with me, I like seeing people do something they're interested in. Even if that just means being, you know, just maybe it's a heckler, but that's what they're good at. At least they're out doing something. Even if it's on the computer, you're doing something. You're not just sitting there staring at a TV. I guess we're staring at a screen, but you get the point. So Bitcoin at 57,229 is that's a critical support. We need to get over this resistance level here in the short term at 57,800 roughly. And right now, we got a little W formed. It's just, I like to see the bullish Gartley. So I think it would have been advantageous for us to come down to that 52,460 area roughly before we had this little bounce back. And the problem with the bounce back is to me, it seems like we're just trying to come up to grab some liquidity so more can sell. It looks like it's still in that exact same pattern. And the reason I say that, and I would have been much more comfortable and confident had we have stayed over that pennant flag. But again, resistance, and it's unbelievable actually. But we're coming down. We've got to break this cycle and come back up. We can with a nice revert. We've just got to do it. And first step would be to get back over this pennant flag. Someone's talking about the flag on XRP. I mean, it depends what flag. We could talk about the short-term flag back up. But we're definitely within this falling channel right now. Unless it's a falling wedge. Let's take a look at this real quick. I just want to take a look at something real quick. Because we never came all the way back up here yet, we could speculate that we came more into like a... You know, if I look at it like this, and we cut this off into a shorter part of this pattern, you know, honestly, I could see something here. Whoever said that about the short-term flag that was formed, I knew you were talking about the short-term one because I seen it earlier, but it didn't register to me that maybe, just maybe, yes, we could have a falling channel, but isn't this technically this descending consolidation? And those are bullish consolidations. We know we're in a bullish consolidation if we don't lose the support. But technically, we could take it a step deeper. We're over the cup and handle support here. Let me pull this out into a longer time frame so you can see. The cup and handle is formed right here, the wider pattern after the cup. But who wants to bet $1 before September? Easy. Well, my hair. I said I wouldn't cut my hair until XRP hit $1, and it's been 1 year now. I haven't cut my hair since last July. Because I said I wouldn't do it until XRP hit $1, so my hair would like to have a word. But I don't know, I think it would be hard to cut it after. It's become a part of me. It's become a part of me now. But yeah, I mean, we'd have to break these short-term formations. I suppose we could start talking about that descending structure that's here. I suppose we could start talking about the descending structure in a very real way. Not just jokingly. I mean, that is there. That is there for sure. So, in the short term, we basically bounced off of this little short-term consolidation. And this includes the rising channel and then a little bit of a bounce below as well. And, I mean, it's up for interpretation because right now is it the fact we're holding on and we're trying to reverse? Because that very well might be what's happening here. And if we do, at least if we hold this structure at 42.4, it would actually hold to the point that we should be able to make a retest at some point. The problem is we won't know that until we can invalidate wave 5 correction, and the only way to do that is to bring the price over 48.6 cents. It's just that's the area within the wick off. Now everything I'm seeing with Bitcoin makes me a little nervous because there's a lot of institutions or governments that are selling, and that's not a joke. And the reason it makes me nervous is not because that manipulation makes me nervous. It's because I see it on the chart where Bitcoin absolutely could come to 48,408. And it almost speaks to that. But if we could pull up a little bit farther and invalidate a death cross here in the daily before it happens, it'd be something. But the fact that Bitcoin came all the way back down here, now we could say, hey, maybe it's an inverted hammer here. So that would give us hope. Absolutely. The problem is if Bitcoin comes down any farther, we're going to have to write that out as well because it's going to start pushing in a reversal candle. Like, we've still got about an hour and 12 minutes. If Bitcoin comes down to like, it won't come down that far. That's a good thing. Yeah, see, we should be okay with that. But let's say we come down below 57,000 and now we put in a lower low. We break the low of the last candle. That's interesting. And it would give a lot of downward pressure here in the daily to end the day. But right now, one could argue it's an inverted hammer. You could definitely argue that. So it's for me, it's intriguing. I do have a lot of fun with this. And like I'm actively seeking out our next copy trade. So I know it's been a little boring within the copy trading lately. But that's only since our last couple trades a few days ago. But cumulatively, if you're involved with that, we're up 19 point something % since we started. And that's in the video description below. And you can join HOTCOIN. And they have XRP Bitcoin pairing. They have IOTA and IOTAX. They also have the copy trading. So you'd go into the copy trading after following the link. And then you'd type in XRP future MIL. And then you could follow the copy trade. Or go to BITUNIX in the video description below and our pinned comments. And in the USA or globally, it has the lowest spot and leverage trading fees. Now, you can't copy trade me there is the only problem. Not until later this month because they don't have that ability. They're adding it and integrating it this month. So, hopefully, if you're looking for that, you could also look there. So, I do thank the 59 people that are here and the 58 likes. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Yes, I have been watching XRP Healthcare every single day as always. The Gatman. MC Prosperity, welcome in and thanks for continuing to tune in. We're looking at Bitcoin right now. If it doesn't hold this 57,229, we could be in it could be a problem. That is a bear flag. I don't want everybody to be like, oh my God, Tom hates us. He's the crypto bear. Like I said, I lost 6 subscribers today. So if more people unsubscribe, it wouldn't bother me. I mean, it would, but I wouldn't be surprised because I speak realistically, and a lot of people want me to say it's going up 600% today, and I can't say it. Because to me, it looks like Bitcoin even has a bear flag in, unless it breaks it, and that could bring us down here on its own to like 54,500. So unless we get hot here and Bitcoin reverses back up, I can see a true lineup here. Now, one bright spot here, if you guys have been following me, I've talked about B2 Gold since $2.53. Today it was up over 5%. It's up to $2.99. I'm going to be very transparent. I am waiting for this back test again. I'm still in B2 Gold, but I'm waiting for a back test to add to my position. If B2 Gold comes down here and back test $2, and this could be your last chance under $3 for a very long time if this happens. If it comes to $2.87, because I believe it will, in time, even if it comes to 308, I think some people are going to get trapped here if they just buy in, even though it's never a bad buy in the commodity. And it pays you yearly about a 5.8 to 6.2% dividend over the year. My last dividend payment, I got like $146 or whatever, 136, whatever it was. And that was just about a week or two ago. I am waiting for the retest that will happen. Unless it has just the most incredible run out without a back test, which usually never happens. But we had a very long drawn out pattern that started at the beginning of this year, the short term one. So the fact it broke out, I believe, now we could come up to like $3.06 first. But I believe it's going to back test around $2.84, $2.83. And that would be your last opportunity. So let's just say, and I've got like $6,000 invested already. Well, it's $5,600 of my own money in B2 Gold. But I believe if it comes back down here, as long as it doesn't show that it came up, created a head, and then it has to come down, as long as it looks like it's going to ride here, I'm buying more for the next push up. Unless it comes through, I would obviously buy more down here. I'm not looking to sell. But you know, that's a nice consolidation down. So there's going to be some kind of correction here. Don't kid yourself. Nothing ever goes up. And even myself, I know it can't go straight up. As happy as I am today. And gold was up 45 bucks an ounce today, roughly. Had a beautiful move. Obviously, we put ourselves in a position where we were rather oversold. So now we're going to have a little bit of a correction. Now, does that mean we come up to... well, it's already come up there. Mine was a little higher, but that's the resistance right now. But is it going to come down and correct down here? We're going to run off a bull flag. So if it comes back down here and retest the breakout that we finally got outside of 2,383, if it holds that, we're off to the fucking races. And I've been on gold with all of you since 21 when I've talked to you about it. But I've been buying gold and silver since 2017, 2018 area. We just were blessed to have gold come down near 1,700 and silver around 17 bucks while I've been on the air. And man, oh man, if you've been along for that journey with precious metals, you have made a huge, huge splash. I am very cash poor, very asset rich. And it makes me on appearance feel like I'm broke and poor a lot of times. But credit-wise, I have a lot of credit I can take out. You know, and with precious metals, the money that doesn't seem like it's there is still there. Mark, hey Tom, watching from the intensive care unit, had a heart attack Sunday. Oh my God, Mark. Wow. I'm so glad that you're here speaking to me right now. That is unbelievable. I'm so sorry to hear that, but so blessed to hear that you are here with us still. Thank you. Thank you to our Lord and Savior. In Jesus' name, amen. That's a blessing to see you here. I'm so glad you were able to, I'm so glad. So glad that you were able to be helped. Rotor and one stent. Wow. So it sounds like you had a blockage then that caused the heart attack. I'm so glad they were able to help you, Mark, and you're still with us. Like, honestly, a blessing here today. That's such a blessing to see. 80% blockage. Wow. Unbelievable. Question, what do you think will happen due to the House resolution? Okay, so we can go into this real quick before we get into the Bitcoin stuff with the German government. But we'll get into more of that in a minute. So, oh man, I forgot what the number was, but the crypto bill... there it is. The House Resolution Bill 109. What do you think will impact be for... So, let me pull this back up. The House Resolution Bill. Sorry, I have so much stuff going through my head right now. The House Resolution Bill. And I like doing this in real time because, so House reject... So here's what everybody's been talking about in the comments. And it's just, we have to go over this. So we'll read this and then we'll talk about the impact possibly on XRP. So House rejects inherent contempt resolution for Garland over tape of... What the hell is this? This isn't it. That is not it, what I wanted. I don't want the Biden interview. I want the House Bill 109. House Resolution Bill. I was going to say that is not what we want. Resolution Bill 109. Yes, Mark, God bless you. I'm so happy to see you're still here with us. So, see, I didn't see any further news, but I know from a couple days ago, and this is what everybody's talking about. So, U.S. House expected to uphold Biden veto preserving SEC accounting rule. So, a resolution that would remove regulatory blockworks for traditional investment banks looking to hold digital assets is unlikely to get enough votes in the House of Representatives to overturn President Biden's veto when it goes back for a vote on Wednesday. And I know yesterday it didn't get enough votes, so that's what everybody's talking about. So I wish it had an updated one on here. I don't understand. But yeah, it definitely, they didn't have enough votes, so let me finish reading this just so everybody can see what was in this bill. Because we've read it before, but it's always good. So people with direct knowledge of the vote say the resolution to repeal SAB 121, an accounting bulletin issued by the staff of the Securities and Exchange Commission that largely prohibits banks from keeping custody of crypto, will not muster the necessary 2/3 majority in the House to override Biden's veto of the joint resolution known as HJ Res 109. So roughly 60 members would need to change their vote to go against Biden, a scenario that House leaders believe is unlikely. Both the House and Senate, through simple majority, voted in favor of rescinding SAB 121 before the president's veto in May. I need to go check on my son real quick. Okay. So some crypto investors say they plan to watch the vote closely on Wednesday afternoon to see which Democrats double down on what they see as an anti-crypto position. The issue of cryptocurrency regulation has become increasingly political in recent months, as GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump has been courting crypto investors as a potentially important voting bloc in the November election. The Republican National Committee reflecting Trump's position, recently integrated cryptocurrency issues into a 2024 platform, vowing to end Democrats' unlawful and un-American crypto crackdown. Some in the crypto world were hopeful that the recent turmoil in the Democratic Party following Biden's disastrous performance in the first presidential debate, which has resulted in prominent members calling for his resignation, would cause some congressional Democrats in tight races to pivot to help overturn Biden's veto of HJ Res 109. But the opposite seems to be the case, with Democrats not seeking to further weaken the president, according to sources in Capitol Hill. There are so many Democrats piling, yada, 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 I don't care about that. I think if the veto were to get overturned right now, then Biden is toast, and other staffers said. The controversy surrounding, so it's all politics, folks. This controversy surrounding SAB 121 is that it's being enforced in the same way as an official rule adopted by the full SEC Commission, and not merely guidance issued by agency staff. Top Republicans like Patrick McHenry, Simon, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months, plus with the XRP Meteor, say that the SEC was able to bypass Congress and other regulators by deeming SAB 121 guidance, which does not have to go through traditional rulemaking procedures such as a public comment period. McHenry called SAB 121 one of the most glaring examples of regulatory overreach by Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler that prevents highly regulated financial institutions and firms from acting as custodians of digital assets. Conventional accounting rules allow banks to hold traditional financial assets of their balance sheets to help manage risk and keep the cost of following. Julie, I just went in. He was going back and forth right here. Manage risk and keep the cost of borrowing down. The SEC staff guidance suggests that because of risky factors in crypto that are not present with traditional assets like hacking capabilities, banks should record crypto as both an asset and a liability, which ultimately increases the cost of compliance, giving them little incentive to hold digital assets in custody for customers who want to trade in crypto or for exchange-traded fund providers creating portfolios. Gensler has called the $2 trillion crypto market the Wild West of investing, citing various scandals that have impacted investors over the years. In his letter to Congress that accompanied the veto of H.J. Res. 109, Biden echoed Gensler, saying he did not want to jeopardize the well-being of consumers and investors by getting rid of guardrails that are necessary to harness the potential benefits and opportunities of crypto asset innovation. But industry participants say SAB 121 may put investors in harm's way by allowing a concentration of risk inside the small number of platforms that currently custody digital assets. Coinbase, the U.S. largest crypto exchange, is not federally regulated, but was the custodian of choice for all 6 of the proposed spot Ether ETFs that are set to launch in the coming weeks and 8 of the 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs that began trading in January. According to Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, Coinbase holds about 90% of the $36 billion in Bitcoin ETF assets. Interesting. That is a huge amount. 90% of the $36 billion in Bitcoin ETF assets is by Coinbase. Recent SEC filings show that major Wall Street players like BlackRock and VanEck, which both have Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, are concerned about the risk that comes with a single entity having custody of assets across competing products. Both firms note that if Coinbase were to encounter a problem, the effect would be felt on an industry-wide basis. This issue, industry participants say, is due largely to banks being sidelined by the restrictive rule of SAB 121. And I'm reading all of this because it's so important that everybody understands what's in this bill. And then before I leave, I'm still going to read about the German government getting ready to sell over 2,300 Bitcoin. The president and members of Congress who vote to keep SAB 121 are contributing to needless concentration risk and harming U.S. competitiveness, said Matthew Siegel, VanEck's head of digital asset research. Even Security and Exchange Commissioners, or the SEC commissioners, who lead the agency in its mission to protect investors, have criticized SAB 121 for its adverse effects on consumers. GOP Commissioner Hester Pierce blasted the guidance, calling it a pernicious weed, while urging her fellow commissioners to adopt a more open approach to engagement with digital assets. Her GOP counterpart, Commissioner Mark Ueda, told Fox Business in June that SAB 121 ought to be withdrawn. Members of Congress are also voicing concerns ahead of Wednesday's vote that SAB 121 poses a risk to the safety of customers' digital assets. Democrat, and you guys see how it went the way it did, right? Why it didn't get the votes? Democrat Congressman Wiley Nickel, Democrat blah blah blah, raised the issue at a House Financial Service Committee hearing on Tuesday with Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. I want to echo Congressman Flood's concerns about the concentration risk in the market for crypto custody due to the SEC's misguided SAB 121, which makes crypto less safe for consumers, Nickel said. We have the best banks in the world, and they ought to be able to take care of this custodial banking piece. If you mean the, meanwhile, House leadership is looking at the other ways they can get rid of SAB 121, including a bill that was introduced in September by Republican Mike Flood, called the Uniform Treatment of Custodial Assets Act, the bipartisan bill, co-sponsored by Reps, or Republic, who cares, they're all on the same payroll. Richie Torres, Willie Nickel, and French Hill would make it possible for banks, credit unions, and trusts to easily safeguard digital assets. So what a read, a lot of information, and for the ones who are sticking it out in here, hey, 64 people, 63 likes, I couldn't ask for more than that. Smaller group, but makes it a better group because we have a tighter unity. Not much communication back and forth, but just enough to where we need it to be. Bitcoin. So the German government, where is this at? So they don't have much Bitcoin left, but I want the article that I had. Where's my German government? What did my have reset it? That's okay, I'll find it. I'll just have to do a search. German government selling Bitcoin. But there was something today where they added more. Well, I mean, we can see how much, but they added another 1,000. The whole point of the article that I had, and for some reason, TradingView to they added an additional. They added more today. They're trying to empty their. So the German government sent 5,100 more Bitcoin worth 300 million to exchanges. This was yesterday. On-chain data shows Bitcoin flowing in and out of the German government BKA wallet from late January onward. There remains 13,111 Bitcoin in the wallet, worth $759 million at time of publication. So I know a lot say that Bitcoin is almost depleted out of the government, but they still have 13,000 Bitcoin worth 700 worth $750 million. Hi from Norway. Keep up the good work, Tom. Love the way you put a little bit. I gotta finish reading that. But this is big news, folks. They have $759 million worth of Bitcoin still. So if you're asking me, was this a colluded effort by the world banks or the world governments that are printing money? Is this a colluded effort to drive the price of Bitcoin up, knowing the ETF was going to be approved? I mean, look at this. That's what it looks like to me. Is it a coincidence that the Russian government, the German government, the U.S. government are all showing their stacks of Bitcoin? I mean, the U.S. government, let's not even get started. They have 212,000 Bitcoin. So these are, I mean, is this another attempt by world governments to lower the price of Bitcoin because they know the U.S. is so heavily invested, and with the U.S. losing its stability as a world reserve currency, is this another way to hinder us because they know the U.S. does not have gold in their reserves? I mean, there's a big conspiracy going on. But it says their Bitcoin sales will end soon. I don't see it that way. I think it's going to take a little more time, unless they're just willing to get rid of it all in a shot, but it's going to drive the price down every single time. So right now we're looking for an additional 5,100 Bitcoin worth 300 million that got sent to the exchanges yesterday. I can tell you right now, the price hasn't come down for that to have had any impact yet. So they're going to find a strategic sell point. So when you see government, when you see large holders, when you see large entities, institutional investors, the big whales, government, I don't care what it is, Mt. Gox, when you see the price increasing and you see them putting it on the exchanges, it's like that duck and cover routine. So hi from Norway. Good work, Tom. Or keep up the good work. Love the way you put positivity back in. A little bit of positivity back in the bear market. I mean, that's the power of positivity, my friend. It is the power of positivity. But if I'm so negative to where I can't even look at crypto because I'm like, this stuff disgusts me, or whatever the case may be, it makes it very difficult for me to stay on top of what I need to. So I try to stay positive within myself, because I know within trading that there's a lot. So German government, and this is the big news here, guys. And it's even worse than what I said to start, because I only put down 2,000 something, but it's more than that. But German government wallet prepares to sell 354 million in Bitcoin. And this article came out today. In Bitcoin amid ongoing market. So if we know that all this Bitcoin is being added, Do we think it's a good time to start setting up a short? Because I'll tell you right now, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a short for our copy trade. And there's such a small group today, I don't feel bad about talking about this for the last couple minutes while I'm here. I'm looking for a short. And right now on our $100 journey, we're up 19 point something percent. So I would like to keep that momentum going, and that doesn't mean we've been with that. We've had a 17% loss. We've had 8% stop outs. We've had 6% stop outs. We've had a couple 20+% gainers, 4% gainers, 8%. So it's been an up and down. But that's what I'm looking for, if I'm being transparent. If you do appreciate my work, consider joining Tom's Army or send one YouTube super chat per month. Very, very important for everybody to pay it forward. Even if it's $1 a month. Less than 0.06% of my audience donates. It's a very small donations. Or a small group, I should say. The wallet labeled German government. And then after this, I'm going to go. It's my son's birthday, and I want to go celebrate it with him. German government BKA on Arkham Intelligence has recently added 6,000 more Bitcoin, valued at $354 million in preparation for another round of Bitcoin sell-offs. So far, 5,853.409 Bitcoin have been transferred to addresses associated with the exchange, like Coinbase, Kraken, Flow Traders, and other unidentified or unconfirmed addresses. The next phase involves offloading approximately 342 million worth of Bitcoin. This follows the previous distributions of 3,100 Bitcoin valued at 178 million at that time on July 9th. Additionally, the wallet withdrew 1,700 Bitcoin worth 91.78 million from Bitstamp, suggesting difficulties in selling them on the exchange. And they did. This was the 1,700 where I was talking about earlier. I was trying to remember the exact amount. They tried to sell it, didn't go through, so they took it off the exchange. And that was the failed attempt on July 9th or July 10th, somewhere around July 9th. So expect some downward volatility. So that's one thing that could help the price appreciate. As of July 9th, the wallet holding were about 26,000 Bitcoins worth roughly 1.5 billion, with the linked address holding 4,800 Bitcoin. By July 10th, the holdings had decreased to approximately 18,110 Bitcoin, worth 1.06 billion, a drop of over 400 million. So the funds are said to have originated from the illegal streaming portal Movie 2K, and one of the defendants facilitated the voluntary transfers of the funds. The Public Prosecutor General's office has sole authority over the confiscated Bitcoins. The BKA, German State Police, just provides the wallets through which the transactions are processed. He further detailed that the proceeds go to the state budget of the Free State of Saxony, but filmmakers as victims of Movie 2K could claim parts of it. Of course, right back to the government. Despite the sell-off and over 1 billion in Bitcoin entering the market, Bitcoin price has rebounded to highs of 58,000 after dipping to 53.9. Ante noted that the ongoing events raised questions about the efficiency of the Saxon government's sales strategy, suggesting auctions or OTC deals might be more effective. Out of nearly 50,000 Bitcoin seized, only about 13,100 Bitcoin worth 770 million remain, resulting in the German government losing its Bitcoin billionaire status. The Bitcoin sell-off aligns with the Mt. Gox initiation of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash repayments to creditors. Ante remarks this event might soon be overshadowed by new developments like the Mt. Gox payouts, which could lead to a broader distribution of Bitcoin ownership, potentially benefiting Bitcoin in the medium term. As of now, Bitcoin's price stands at 58,545 with a total cryptocurrency market cap, yada, yada, yada. And as of right now, Bitcoin's at 57,242, so it came down about 1,400 points since that article was written. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll do better, bring more positivity, and bring more from a charting standpoint. My titles are mostly going to be aimed at the charts from now on. No more of the outside news and notes on the title, but when you come in, you'll be able to see the news and notes. I like to just focus on the charts in my title and just a little bit of a message about XRP. So I thank you all. Have a good evening. If you made it until the end, hashtag be better, do better. If you appreciate my content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And I can guarantee you one thing. Tomorrow we're going to bring the passion. We're going to have a little more of a piece of the puzzle. It'll be the end of the week of trading, so we'll get into a thinly traded weekend tomorrow after the markets close around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after the after hours closes. And then we'll see how gold goes to the end of the day. I'm very happy that it had such a push. I'm very thrilled with B2 Gold. Hope the audience is taking advantage of these little opportunities. And I'll see you all tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a blessed evening, everybody, and thank you all.